Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another day here of the APAC edition of the Overwatch League. It's time to kick off the Kickoff Clash here in Asia. I'm Achilleos, joined by Avril. We'll be holding down the fort the whole weekend long, bringing you guys the games. We are the warlords of APAC. We get to just sit back, talk about the matches, and watch as these teams battle for our entertainment. Starting things off, we have the Philadelphia Fusion going up against the Hangzhou Spark, #1 seed, selecting their opponent that they recently defeated in a map 5.
Yeah, Seth, I'm going to be sitting on that Empress chair, not going to lie, with the thumbs up and thumbs down going on, depending on how I like the games today. But the whole way through, it's going to be us the entire way through all of the Kickoff Clash here in the East, our top 4 teams from the APAC division. And oh my goodness, we had such great games in our final week, right? Very close series, Shanghai 3-1 versus Seoul, Hangzhou Spark 3-2 versus Fusion, and we get the exact same matchups again with the Hangzhou Spark choosing the Philadelphia Fusion. So, I mean, we just get to run back our entire last week. Yeah,
these teams, as far as prep, it should be somewhat straightforward for them because they say, okay, where did things go wrong in our last series? Let's do better in that regard. So we'll see who has made the most improvements and whether or not our #4 seed can best the #1, if our #3 can best the #2. We're going to find out here today and set the stage for that upper final. So we'll see what happens here with this lineup, with these 4 teams that are going to be battling across the next 3 days to be crowned the first champions in 2022. Starting things off, though, of course, it is the Hangzhou Spark versus the Philadelphia Fusion. And Fusion, they certainly had their work cut out for them last time, Avril. You and I didn't get to cast this series, but we were sitting back watching with bated breath as this one went down to the wire.
I think it was kind of the comeback game for Fusion in a way, right? They just beat the Valiant in their final game of this first stage. They had to go up against Hangzhou Spark, and they looked pretty good. They looked very solid, much better than the early performances when they got rolled by Seoul. Right, you also had performances where Fusion honestly looked shaky versus Chengdu. They lost that match as well. But now coming against Hangzhou Spark, who I deem to be one of the best teams in this particular region, Fusion played well. Look, they didn't win. It came down to the wire. Some mistakes were definitely shown. Let's not say that Fusion played anywhere near perfect, but they're on the right trajectory. But a team that's kind of leading the pack, currently the team that is definitely in the lead, our #1 seed coming through from APAC, 5-1 record, our highest map differential as well on +8. That's 4 maps better than Shanghai in the 2nd seed, is the Hangzhou Spark. And Alpha Yi, I think, leading the way for this team as well as the spearhead of this roster.
Yeah, he very much has, but I mean, everybody around him has been performing incredibly. I mean, Guxue, only a few map wins for him. It took a while to finally get that locked in, but has been looking better as of late. Whether it's him, whether it's Bernard, it doesn't really matter. The Hangzhou Spark are a very great, cohesive unit squad that can, tap into that hive mind that we talk about often in relation to the Shanghai Dragons. There's times where it looks like everybody is very much on the same wavelength here for this squad as well, which is amazing to see because you do have that slight little mixed language roster going on here with the Koreans and the Chinese. So it's good to see that they have kind of fleshed this out. It's been a long time coming for the side of the Spark to get to this point where it looks like the roster is workable, can dominate the region. And right now, it seems like this could be their time.
And they have a head start in terms of being a mixed roster as well, right? Because everybody on this team has got experience playing on a mixed roster previously, including the members coming through from last year's Hangzhou Spark, but also the new Billy guys as well. Super just had a long history playing on mixed rosters going back to CC. He even speaks reasonable Korean to get along and to be able to communicate as well. So things look good as far as the coordination of this roster. But Achilleos, we're about to get into this game now, and just before we do, though, I do have to mention, as a reminder, the maps are chosen by the teams. Hangzhou Spark have opted for Oasis as the opening map of this series. The loser will be choosing every subsequent map. Control is Hangzhou Spark's best map. Type against Philadelphia Fusion, 83% win rate, 5-1 all time. They start with Guxue as well. I think this is part of Spark's wanting to force Bellisria in the lineup for the Fusion. Bellisria is the less experienced player compared to Fury. The more that Spark can force Bellisria into this lineup for the Fusion, probably the better it is for the Spark. Achilleos, Kickoff Clash though, map #1 starts now.
That it does. Here we go, city center of Oasis to get things started out the gate. Looks like we're going to be having a bit of a mirrored matchup here between the two squads. That's going to be hitting the jump pad first. A little bit of damage there on to fix up. Will be okay though, can survive. And Shy just looks to hold it in the low ground for now. Jump up over the top. Gets good damage down to Bellisria. Almost takes him out, but looks like they will be able to push away from each other relatively safely now from the side of the Fusion. Wrap back around the opposite side of the point as they get ready for this to unlock.
Here comes a jump from Bellisria as well. You do notice that Spark is first to the mark in terms of holding that high ground. Point unlocks though, so as the Fusion drops down, the Spark have to come back in as well.
Oh, Carpe with a nice Helix Rocket will find Gushoi, but he gets traded out. Alpha Yi picking that up, making it a 1-for-1, but the front line now broken down on the side of the Hangzhou Spark. We'll see if that's enough for the Fusion to try to get this cap coming through. Anti out onto Belisria. Looks like he's being kept alive for now, but then they get him with a sleep dart. Nice little lineup there from Iron. He gives his life to get that kill. Another little trade coming through, but with Fixa on top, it seems like Hangzhou Spark should be set to gain control of the point first and foremost. Recall going to be coming through here from Alpha Yi, keeping himself alive, building up towards that pulse bomb where Zest is just narrowly outpacing him. 6% the difference for now, but just looking for picks, looking to try to open the point. So far hasn't happened. Last second contest now coming through from Belisria. Yep, that's going to be the jump into the back line now, though, from Gushwei, the attack visor, rolling from Shy. He's got this bubble to keep him protected for a little bit longer. Since the Helix Rocket's in, gets some damage there onto Carpe. The Nano now going to be used to try to keep Carpe alive, but Aim God gives his life to use the ultimate. Belisria has now gone down. Carpe and Zest, though, carrying their weight up over the top, managed to find Irony. Super Rich falling moments before that. Now, with no supports in the fight, it could be a quick flip here for the Fusion.
Multiple kills coming through from Carpe as well, so that Nano is certainly doing work. I mean, definitely was a desperation Nano from Aim God. It seemed like it could have been used into a lost cause as well, but Carpe holds on, defeats Shy, used that Nano to get a bunch of damage in, and it looked like Hangzhou Spark, despite having the initial cap, taking the advantage in the fight, getting a lot of members of the Fusion down, could not kill Carpe, and now he's got his own visor. Shy actually led the visor battle by more than 50% at one point, and now he's going to open to pick on Zest as well, but Carpe also did die in that first fight, so that's why he was so far behind.
Good elimination. Sound Barrier now going to be used. Just everybody else on the team here for the side of the Fusion. Super Rich just getting ready to build his up. And Belisria, he didn't receive that, I don't think, or maybe they melted the shield off him so very quickly, but he ends up dying. So this Sound Barrier drop not going to pay off at all for the side of the Fusion.
And beyond that as well, Super Rich and Irony have saved their ultimate, so now you have the support advantage going forward for the Hangzhou Spark. Still have the visor available for Carpe. This Fusion lead very briefly. That number on the point will be equalized in just a few moments. The ultimate advantage is definitely in the way of the Hangzhou Spark, and they're also holding up very close as well.
Yeah, and they're just diving all the way into the back towards the spawn room here of the Fusion. Put quite a bit of damage down onto Aim God. Cannot confirm the kill, though. Gushwei going to be making his exit as the Nano comes out. Helps keep him alive. Helps get him back to safety. Spark for now in the lead at 50%. And there we go. I didn't have audio this entire time, and I finally fixed it.
And Shy's caught up again, so now he's about to get a second visor. Carpe still on his first. When Carpe pops this one, there will be a sound barrier in response from Super Rich. That's if this stick doesn't actually land off. He barely misses that one. Carpe sidesteps.
That he does, I think inadvertently so. Didn't necessarily know that the Tracer was behind him, but he just not quite predicting the movements there of the Soldier 76. Pretty difficult at times. For now, though, Fusion trying to retake the point for themselves. Tack Visor is going to be opened up by Shy. Carpe going on a bit of a flank, but he dives right into the middle of the team. They get the ante down onto him. A sleep dart connects, but then Shy just goes charging forward. Manages to find the elimination, but the rest of the team are doing work here for the Fusion. Fixa coming up with two as Irony and Shy both fall. Gushwei now out of the fight, and it's just Alpha Yi left to try and delay as long as possible, but he does not last long enough. The flip will come through prior to 99% here, but Fusion still have a hell of a lot of work cut out for them if they want to win this round.
What a tricky situation for the Fusion. I mean, they lose Carpe almost immediately. They pull the trigger second. Shy's popped his second visor. Carpe was still waiting for the response. He goes for the Nano visor, but naded straight away. And if it wasn't for the rest of the squad, Fixer and Zest getting those kills, could have looked really bad for the Fusion. Still a 91% lead here for the Hangzhou Spark. Looking for that one-and-done fight at some stage. So they can keep Shy alive and survive against his spy onto Irony. That could be okay. Zest will take down Shy, and that's going to force the reset.
He almost recalled back into that, but the pulse bomb went off just before the recall had finished, it looked like. For a second, though, he was going to be getting taken out of the fight. Dive into the back line now, though. Good anti out from Aim God. Clips both of the supports. They managed to pick up one. Gushwei falling low. Doesn't want to pop the primal here, of course. So, yeah, good staggers coming in here for the side of the Philly Fusion as they continue to chase up. But the DPS ult still a ways away. Alpha nearly with a pulse bomb could open things.
They're buying time, though, and that's the thing for the Fusion, is they were behind in terms of percentage cap, but they're about to hit 91 themselves. This is awful for the Hangzhou Spark. They need to actually initiate onto the point itself. You might have to see Gushwei just pop Primal and touch.
Yep, he's going to go ahead and pop it. Belisria now doing the same, looking for a target to try to gatekeep away from the point. Dives into the back, spots the Soldier 76, sees the Tracer on the flank. He's not going to be able to really get on top of anybody, at least for now, but Gushwei has been finished off. Carpe coming up with that elimination. Now Shy going to be out of the fight. The pulse bump from Alpha E yet again is not going to find any value whatsoever. Super Rich is jumping away from the point, will get hounded down, and that should basically be it, as Alpha E will be finished off. Decent comeback here from the side of the Fusion. Narrow margins to make it work, but they get there in the end. 191% as they take City Center.
I mean, that's brilliant because you see Fusion in such precarious situations. I go back to the Carpe moment, nearly dies, has the nano to save him, and then he actually cleans up a fight that was very early on. I believe that was even kind of the first/second kind of fight there. Both those fights melded together. Another situation where Carpe as a nanovisor dies immediately, but then Zest and Fixer still save the day. Hangzhou Spark in their winning moments, they go to push towards spawn, they nano Goose Ray, but collect no kills, they can't quite get these staggers in there, they can't quite slow down the Fusion, and they end up having to back up. You look at the flip side, Fusion go to kind of pseudo spawn cap the Hangzhou Spark, they get 2 kills in a row, they kill Goose Ray as well, they really slow down the respawns. Yes, Hangzhou Spark are like 30% ahead in terms of cap, but they lose that entire advantage by just having to reset, wait for respawns. Goose Ray has to primal just to touch the point, he's isolated and he dies immediately.
Well, here comes the contest for the high.
That's a boop. Hello.
Oh my god! I mean, had already used the leap pulse, can't get back up. What a boop from Super Rich! Was that a loss from words as I witnessed that happening? I was waiting for the Winston to appear yet again, but no, he didn't have the leap. He just disappeared into the ether. A major first pick to assert dominance on the high ground. A great play from Super Rich as they open up the point now. It's going to be unlocked. Let's see if the Hangzhou Spark can just go ahead and take this. Belisria has, of course, rejoined the fight, but that initial pick puts him so far behind Gushue. Good opening kill, though. Belisria looking to make up for lost time. Gets on top of Super Rich, gets that elimination, gets that vengeance. Now Zest taken out by Shy. Good Helix rockets in, but it will be a trade on the Genjis. So blow for blow so far. Fusion still fighting back. Shy gets dove on. Protections there from Gushue, dropping the bubbles, trying to keep this Soldier 76 alive. The point will be taken first by the Fusion.
Yeah, that's the 5v4 advantage. They're Shy on critical HP. He went down to as low as 11, I believe that it saw. Belisria as well has spent most of that fight being quite low. Now, the good part for the Fusion is despite losing Belisria early, they never lost control of the cap, so they actually still managed to get Belisria back, fight for first cap control, and actually get that first cap. Ooh. And first nano available for Aim God now.
Yep, does have that. Alpha E falling low, needs to get topped up, still going to be below half HP. Gushue as well taking a beating. Plenty of healing here for the duo on the side of the Spark. The duo. Sound barrier first out from Fixa, and 2 instant kills come in as the DPS say goodbye, good night on the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Gushue making his exit as Super Rich. He's still doing Super Rich things, comes up with yet another kill, but now is left all on his lonesome, contained in the side room. Just a matter of time before he gets finished off.
It's kind of interesting that Fixer is the one to use the ultimate and not Aim God in that situation as well. So they make the tempo beat play instead of the what would have been a dry nano. That means they're going to have to go for a nano play this time around instead of being able to play defensively. Fusion will be forced to play offensively. This has to be some sort of nano visor or even a dry one to Zest. Nano visor will probably be recommended here. There's a lot to match on the other end. Hangzhou Spark, they might have lost the fight. They're 60% behind, but they are, in terms of ultimates, definitely ahead.
God, just healing through this chip damage up from Gushue. Now turns the sights over to Zest. Nano at the available, could be the visor, could be the blade. Belisria going to open things up first with a primal. Fixa going to be taken down though. Shy with his tac visor manages to find the enemy Lucio. Carpe pops his own. He's looking for a target. Will get Super Rich moments before he can breach around the corner and keep himself alive. Heading back though are the support duo on the side of the Hangzhou Spark, albeit only for a moment. They end up getting dropped, and Fusion will hold the point.
It's the kind of situation where it's difficult for Fusion to win right there. 1 ultimate behind, Zest also falls early. So now point control should be going back the way of Hangzhou Spark, but they're having a bit of trouble capping. They actually haven't committed the cap just yet, which means Fusion still have control at 99%. They can still play this one. They are. Zest goes in.
LPE now trying to match. Deflection going to be used by Zest, and he is just at a sliver of HP, but the focus fire comes in. They will end up being traded in the end as both Soldier 76s take down the opposing Genjis. Carpe pulling around the corner. Hangzhou Spark fighting for the flip that they desperately need. Bionade out on both supports. That's going to be a big opener for them, but Carpe now finds Shy. Alpha only just now respawning. They can see the point for now. As the flip does come in, Hangzhou Spark gaining control, if not for a moment.
And fully out of ultimates now for both sides. Fusion wasting no time, though, actually giving a bit of a chase to Alpha E. They'll get him. Alpha E completely caught out. That's going to be the 5v4. I mean, that could be the map.
It very well could be. There's the flip yet again. Now into overtime once more we go. Gushue still going to be low. They steadily tick him back up. Irony trying to build that nano boost up here as quickly as possible. Aim God not too much further behind, but crucially fix it with the sound barrier. That's going to be available here in just 10%. Gushue falls low. They yet again need to touch the point. Someone's got to work their way through. Seems like somebody has, but now Super Rich going to be taken down, but it's in an exchange. Aim God and Zest both gone. Carpe eliminated, and it seems like off the back of this nano, they might just be able to make this happen. Gushue getting closer and closer, perfectly tied just about here towards that primal rage. As we see Belisria and Fixa desperately trying to buy some time here on the point, but Fixa, I don't know if he's going to be willing to commit the beat here. He's going to go low. No, he will go ahead and drop it. It's going to be for him and the Winston. Now they look to just try to displace Kushway, but they need their DPS to come back in to try to break down this Scientist. Primal's going to be coming through. Bellisria falling low. Pops his as well. As they go leaping across the point, Bellisria into the back line, juggling onto Irony, trying to get the elimination, and no one is on the point in this last moment. Alpha, you cannot touch in time. The Fusion will take the first map of Oasis 2-0.
And great pressure on the side towards the end there as well, at 99%. He was one being beaten, buffeted away by Bellisria with the two primals going at the same time as well. And Philadelphia Fusion decided not to reset there. I mean, they could have probably have reset, saved their double support ultimates, come back in and won anyway, but they had the confidence to say, no, we're just going to take it right now. We will not risk anything further. We're going to commit ultimates, even a two-man sound barrier from Fixer. Fixer, by the way, who randomly kills Alpha E almost solo. No idea how he gets that kill. That's actually an insane kill because it just slows down Alpha E further. 2 deaths in a row where nothing really happens for him. Comes back from the respawn, cannot touch in time like you sort of mentioned, and that's going to be the end of our first map. But a brilliant start for the Philadelphia Fusion, especially, I got to say, that City Center was so good in terms of how they recovered.
Yeah, really good stuff, but a little bit scary. We're going to Midtown next, and I remember Philly Fusion playing on this one from last week. They ended up doing a bit better the second time out of the map, but we'll see how they fare now on the third attempt. Hangzhou Spark, this will be their selection, and we'll see how they fare when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere, guys. The Kickoff Clash action continues in just a few. And welcome back. It's time to carry on with our first matchup here in the Kickoff Clash APAC edition. So far, the Philly Fusion able to take Oasis 2-0, start things off with the right foot forward, get that map win under their belt. Hangzhou Spark, though, now have map select. They have elected to go to Midtown to see if they tie up the series there.
And I think that was such a clean start for Fusion. I mean, despite being behind, it never really felt like they were outright. I mean, we've seen Fusion at their worst. We've seen them at their best. This is definitely closer to being their best and their worst so far. The fact that they were behind but still kept composure, kept the ability to come on in. Honestly, personally, very impressed with Fixer on that particular map as well. I have to highlight one of the key differences that I noticed on that Gardens map, and I'll address the substitutions in a second here as well, is that despite Super Rich getting the initial boop kill onto Bellisria, Fixer still kept up in ult charge, even though Super Rich had an entire Winston's HP pool of additional ult charge right from second number one. Not only that, but then Fixer and AimGod both got their support ultimates before ironing and Super Rich in that follow-up neutral. So really well played by this Fusion backline in terms of the supports. Now we talk a little bit about these substitutions as well. Obviously, MN3 coming in for the subsequent maps that are not Control. Bellisria staying in is very interesting to me because typically you would see Fury here, and you are seeing Bernard on the other side.
Yeah, we'll see what they have prepped for us here on the side of the Fusion. Well, I mean, going for the Winston, going to be a bit awkward. Maybe around second point you can make that work a little bit better because you do have that underpass and whatnot to play around. Leap up between that and the high ground, but we'll have to see what they have as we do go into this. But yeah, Carpe stepping away. I mean, you know, he did a mild amount of feeding at the very beginning there, but he's the messiah for the Philadelphia Fusion. He is the one. He died for their wins. They got this first map win under their belt. Maybe he'll be reborn in map number 3. We'll just have to wait and see. For now, MN3 going to be coming out the gates, and for now is hovering on the Reaper, but we'll see where he lands as they are on the attack first.
Yeah, with Bellisria, unlikely to see the Reaper here. I mean, we've seen MN3 potentially snipe here. He's played the Ashe. Soldier's obviously a really good pick. Alpha E on the defense for the Torb. Now, this is actually not even a troll pick because we've seen, I believe, a game where Alpha E played this map and actually brought out the Torb legitimately. So, in a way, to me, it's kind of like a less effective Reaper because you are playing anti-dive here. You're expecting, well, you know that Bellisria being in means Winston. You know Zest being in most likely means the Genji. You know they're going to dive into you. Torb does have a pretty positive matchup into that, but I think a lot less flexibility than the Reaper. So it is a risk for the Hangzhou Spark.
Okay, walking out the gates, up into the tube.
Oh, it's a Ryan as well.
Okay, where are they going to TP? Okay, TP up onto the high ground inside of the fire department. Working across, Zest looking for a target. Will receive a sleek dart. So put on the ground for now. That'll slow up the Fusion for just a little bit of time. So far, the only casualty going to be the Torb turret.
I mean, this is shades of 2021 Fusion, right? Remember Melee? They played the most Brawl. I feel like I'm watching a bit of Mano at the moment with the rest of the old 2021 squad.
Oh,
they actually
I love this.
Shy, so brilliant TP play back and forth. Shy thought he had a positioning, but the TP back was still there.
Yeah, fantastically played here by the side of the Fusion. Let's see if they can capitalize off the back of this. LVE taking quite a bit of damage. And now that they have the point, they can get a nice little defensive setup going here for the Symmetra. TP onto the high ground as they go ahead and take the fight up towards Super Rich. LVE managing to fight too. Oh no, they have overstepped the pounds. AimGod now, or LVE rather, into the back there, finds Fix Up. Cleans up the kills. I mean, he is on a tear. Is he just gonna 5-man? No, he doesn't. Okay, the Bionade will take it away from him, but damn, he nearly had all of the kills.
How does this man do it on every single hero? We've seen him basically do similar things on, obviously, the Genji, on the Reaper for sure, on the Tracer, and now also a Torb. Hello, this guy is just kind of running the gamut of all these different types of DPS currently. And the Torb seemingly working out, despite losing Shy. But that was a 4v5 situation that they actually recovered from.
Yeah, well, Alpha Yi, as he goes in, is bound for Rookie of the Year. I think he's basically the equivalent of 3 people, it would seem. The guy who's been putting up such significant numbers. See Zest just trying to really fortify this position. As they wait to drop down, they will go ahead. Make their way onto the point now, looking for the first tick. Bernard going to be the one that steps up. Continues to contest this, just jiggling around the corner. The Fire Strike not going to connect, goes into the light post there from the side of Bellisria. First tick has been snatched up. Nano Boost goes forward onto Bernard. Everybody backs away, not feeding him any extra energy, as it will dwindle down very rapidly. So they just wait this out. Good patient play from the side of the Fusion.
Okay. Should be window in the window here. Should be window for MN3. Out of the window. How many window sections can we get here? Here we go. AimGod, drop it in for me.
First one comes through. There's the tack visors looking for a target. Bernard trying to play around that light post, denying line of sight. as best as he possibly can. Again, the turret going to be the only casualty thus far. Grab comes through, they've gotten the Molten Core, layered down right on top of him. The Immortality Field does not last very long at all. Fixa taken out, and actually don't even know where the Immortality Field was, because it wasn't in position to try to save the Lucio's life. They end up cleaning him up, now they're disconnected from each other. Get a little bit over that second tick established here on the point. They still need to break through, and they're running out of time. 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining. Belarus still has not gotten an Earth Shatter yet.
So this is the interesting part, right? Because now you have half the Fusion team kind of split off from the other half. If the Spark actually collapsed upstairs, maybe they could have cleaned them up, but they'll just allow the Respect to come on through. Fusion have now successfully regrouped via TP. Shy gets a kill, though. That's a big shatter.
Okay, he does. He managed to find one that's going to be in. Got out of the fight now. That Sound Barrier comes in from Fixa to try to take them over the finish line. Pushing forward, swinging through, looking for the elimination here onto Bernard. The bubble gets popped, and now Belarus, maybe he's overstepped. He's looking for the pin. Point blank, he cannot get it. Shy picking up 2, but the cap is there for the side of the Fusion, so they do get a second lease on life. Now they have those forward spawns. It's all about draining the time down here in the street space for the side of the Spark.
I think it was a big mistake for Spark not to at least collapse on one side of the map to try and stop the respawners from coming on through, at least prevent the TP, just splitting up the ability for Fusion to regroup, right? But it ends up being a free cap due to the, the Earth Shatter from Belarus preventing anyone from touching. They already had a tick or so to work through. And now we have the Symmetra ultimate to bring things in.
Okay, that's going to be the barrier going up. As they TP to the top, they are instantly greeted by a nice 3-man Bionade. That's going to force the Immortality Field out. Wrapping around the back, they're looking for a target here to try to get the cart moving forward yet again. Quite a bit of damage there onto Alpha Yi, but Zest unable to find the elimination. Cart continuing now to proceed down into the underpass, but Fixa gets picked off at the back end here by Bernard.
Still a bit of solo pushing happening to the bottom as well. Okay, yeah, he'll get out fine. That's, yeah, it shouldn't be anything to stop him, to be honest with you. This is the sort of positioning now where you have to start considering, okay, how much further do we want to play this sort of Symmetra? Can we get more value on the TPs or not? They have to try and get pushes underway, and they need, I think at this point, I was going to say, something more like a May to get you through the underpass, because Zest on the Symmetra is probably not going to be a good enough job. Good for rotations for a, static point like A, but now that we're playing with a payload, you need something that can defend and play with your team more on a mobile sort of stance, so May definitely the right call.
Alright, so the May comes through. Still stick with the Reinhardt, of course. As they go pushing forward, MN3 going to be antied out as his aim god. He's just going to get tucked away. Hiding out in the underground here. As the window comes through, Bernard throws the grab, pushes the core to the right, clicks, and the Genji just dive in. And they will rip them to shreds. They try to get themselves out to safety. They try to utilize the window, but the Spark did not allow it. A great team kill for them, as it's now 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining for the side of the Fusion.
It's a great grab. I mean, entirely prevents the Fusion from using the window at all. That would have been the only real win condition coming through from the Fusion. They need to get some significant damage done via the window, and the grab completely denies that. We also have aim guard, by the way, now moving over towards the Ana. We start to head towards the end, finding that the BAP is not providing as much value. I think the lamps are starting to, really be counter value almost. They just don't really give you enough. The windows are being countered as well. We have a shatter to play through. Should be somewhat difficult to stop the shatter depending on where the bubbles are. At the same time though, Alpha Yi's just going to go in.
Yep, he finds aim god, no sleep start to connect, so Alpha Yi just goes ahead and he takes a mighty chunk out of the side of the Fusion. Another team kill, back to back, just 40 seconds later. Now it is 27 seconds remaining for the side of the Fusion. A shatter near to a sound barrier, the Blizzard's still a ways away. Can they make this work versus the beat and the visor?
Here's the thing though, Super Rich does have a beat like you sort of mentioned here, so when the shatter comes down, as long as Super Rich is not caught by that, they should be fine. The other problem here for Belarus is, how are you going to land a shatter when most of the Hangzhou Spark are actually playing on high ground? You want to be pushing the payload into the underpass, forcing the Spark down on the ground with you, and then go for a shatter. And even then, most likely, you just get Belarus if he doesn't bubble in time. The main win condition here is you need the Blizzard. When the Blizzard's available, that's how you're going to get this.
Belarus, somebody's got to save him. Nobody can. The beat comes in from Fixa too late. He couldn't get on top of him. Now they have no tank, now they have no shatter, and Shy is just going ham with the visor. All of them getting ripped apart, no Blizzard, no nothing. They see the win conditions, I'm sure. They know what they need to do in order to get things moving, but Belarus ends up getting caught, ends up taking so much damage, cannot escape. No one can come to his rescue, and it doesn't make it very far. Just there on the downslope, gravity not even assisting them in sliding it further. And that's all the Spark needs to do in order to tie this. Yeah.
It's actually moving the opposite end of gravity. No, but I think what happens there is that is, to me, not a very surprising place for the Fusion to get held up, because when you think about the Rhine comps, nothing to really take the high ground with. You have to basically fight for the high ground the hard way. And when I say the high ground, I'm talking about, like, you know, the actual overpass. It's not really a bridge, but, you know, that overpass
platform
area above that sort of car wash section, right? You need to take that, but then after you take that, you still have to push the payload. So how do you do both? Because you have to stack as 5. So if you do take the high ground, then you drop down to push the payload, Spark just take the high ground back from you, and you can't really fight them. And you saw how hard it was for the Fusion to push towards the payload when everybody, almost completely 5 different people in separate areas of that high ground and on that B area of the map for the Hangzhou Spark. And if you're a Rhine, you can't catch them. You do need a sim to try and catch them. However, we also did explain the sim's value is starting to really dip once we get to the escort sections of Midtown. For A, when it's just a static point, Symmetra is great. Now that we're starting to be mobile in the objective, Symmetra's value drops a lot. So that brawl composition just didn't have, I think, the longevity for the map completion. You would have to get past the car wash, the underpass at minimum, to see the brawl composition find value again.
Well, out the gate, not going to be trying to go for any of these Rhine shenanigans, at least not yet. They push forward. I mean, on the side of the Spark. Of course, the Rhine aren't there for the Fusion. And Bernard's going to go for the Winston.
Bellistri is kind of hiding the pick a little bit here. He hasn't shown himself. I think once you see the May, you should kind of know. And probably by now, if you hit tab, you'll see it. But yeah, they should know that something is up.
Bernard going to go leaping across, gets himself into the fire station. Doesn't see anybody here on the low ground, at least. Eyes up the position of Bellistria. Now goes diving into the back. He's looking for Aim God. Even if he can force out something like the Immortality Field, it would be quite nice. And he's playing his limits pretty well here, but Zest will manage to eliminate him. Aim God does end up falling at the same time, though. Shy a bit low. Zest pulling back behind the Rhine shield as the point for now is going to be occupied by the side of the Spark. First tick picked up with 3 minutes left on the clock. This recontest needs to come through quickly here from the side of the Fusion.
Yeah, they're waiting for Aim God, so Aim God was getting taxied back from spawn. Now that he has, Bellistria first for the touch, but 2 ticks has been given up here. No ultimate to speak of just yet. Just going to frontline versus Bellistria so far.
Yep, just jumping up, leaping over top of the shield, putting as many shurikens into the Rhine as possible. Bellistria just getting beaten and battered. There's the dive in. There's the finisher. Great Bionade woven into the fight there by Irony. The Immortality Field far too late from Aim God, but he makes up for it just a bit. Leaps up into the high ground, finds Alpha Yi, but now the visor's there from Shy. He manages to find 2. Fixa will take him down, but then Bernard gets the kill on the Fixa, and it's a near 5-minute needed hold here for the Fusion if they want to move up 2-0.
So consolation prize is they do force out the visor, so that's at least one extra piece of ultimate that is going to be taken off the board, but you wanted more than that. You wanted to shave more time off. 4 minutes.
There's almost a nano blade here for the Spark.
It's just so much, and that's the other thing, right? Because you have used the visor, but everything else is coming online. The good news is there's more to play through for the Fusion as well. The main tool, again, is going to be the Blizzard. At the end of the day, that's your panic button. If the cap is nearly there, you drop the Blizzard on the payload, you should be able to defend it.
Well, the card for now moving completely unhindered. They're going to have to drop down here eventually as Alfie dives into the back line. It's a good push away initially, but the Immortality Field does not last very long, and I don't know if anyone's going to get the touch. They cannot. The blade comes out, everybody panics, everybody dies, and the Hangzhou Spark just make it look easy as they glide into a win here on Midtown Fusion again. Not finding very much success on this map. Not full health this time around, but still not the result that they're looking for. That's going to tie us up at 1-1. Fusion now will have their map pick, and we'll see where they decide to take us.
I mean, that was insane, right? I mean, you just see this one, lamp coming down from Aim God, killed in 1 slash. Alfie doesn't care. Just slaps out of the way like it's a complete just minor inconvenience. Like, that thing, no, it's not going to save you, buddy. Not going to do a thing. Talked about the Blizzard for 2 whole halves of Kilios. Didn't see it one time. Very sad.
Very sad indeed. I mean, Alfie, he was straight out of his chair as soon as that round won. I think he just pulled the blade, said, yeah, nano me, whatever, let's just finish this. I gotta go use the restroom. Now he's back, ready to go for map number 3. We'll wait to see what the Fusion have elected to take us to for Escort when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll see who can move up to map point after this. And we are back and all tied up here in our first series of the Kickoff Clash. As, the map pick of Midtown for the side of the Hangzhou Spark paying off dividends as it was a fairly one-sided affair, I think it's safe to say there. Avril, now we have the Fusion making their first map selection coming into this. Watch Point Gibraltar is what they've decided on as we get ready to go into Escort.
I don't think it's too surprising as well in terms of how dominant each particular map looks. With the maybe... I'll excuse the Oasis a little bit here. I think that doesn't quite count towards the point I'm about to make. But when you do have teams picking when they're, teams who lose picking the next map. So Spark get to then pick Midtown. They look much better on Midtown. Oasis technically also was a Spark's pick. If that was more of a neutral map, maybe we'd have a different discussion about it. But because now Fusion get to pick their own map when we head towards Watchpoint Gibraltar, I'm expecting more out of this team. And especially because they are picking specifically a map type that favors keeping Ballasria in. Because if they really wanted Fury in, they would go towards Circuit Royale. I think that's the best escort map for an off-tank player. And then Burnout would probably stay hidden as well. But they're going to force Gushue to come back in for them now. Maybe... if I read into this a little bit deeper, it could be the opposite thing where I sit on Oasis, maybe it was Hangzhou Sparks kind of idea to play maps that would keep Ballasria in. Now the opposite is happening where Philadelphia Fusion want to keep Ballasria in, and they want to force maps where Hangzhou Spark have to put Gushue in.
Well, I mean, you gotta think back to Gushue getting his first map win of the season. Guess what map that was, Avril? It was this one.
Uh-oh.
It was
and
Watch Point Gibraltar. What does it mean?
He's won quite a few since then as well, including the last time that these two teams actually matched up. So the kind of like, Gushue is he cursed, he's not winning maps kind of deal is definitely over for now. As Irony, I get it. That jump is it can be pretty tricky. I've certainly failed a few times on my own. But moving forward, when you look at this series, when you look at these two teams, how close it was the last time they met barely a week ago. Yeah, I mean, this is the type of game that should be close, that should be going back and forth the entire way through. Gigantic nade to start things out.
Yeah, I was going to say, really bold of Ballasria to continue leaping forward onto that that high ground walkway, because we have seen Winston's immediately play towards this position and then get annihilated in the first few seconds of the round. Gushue instead going to be taking a defensive leap back over towards point A as he was antied out on the high ground. Doesn't want to stick around and find out, so goes ahead, pulls away. MN3 playing in the underpass, is trying to track Shy, sends a shot his way but cannot get a hit.
So that opening kill to Super Rich actually gives Fusion an unbelievable lead because now they have both underpass control. See, the payload's already starting to push down. They also have high ground control, so they get to have their cake and also eat it too off the back of one kill. And that's even with the fact that Irony landed the initial nade that set up the play for the Spark, and they were the ones that first lost the player.
Well, speaking of eating it, Aim God, he bit the dust there. Shy, nice little headshot, taking down the enemy Ana, opens things up a bit, spots MN3, knows that he's going for the jump shot. Ooh, narrow window to be able to get that headshot through. Can't quite make it happen, but you can tell he was looking in the correct position. Try to get rid of the opposing sniper. As MN3 just putting a bit of damage there into Gushue.
This
Irony, though, surging ahead.
This stall is really good for Hangzhou Spark now, as Fusion have just completely slowed down. They're maybe waiting for MN3 to land shots. Shy has hit the majority of the shots so far, when we look at just the difference of where that ult charge is, but MN3's response is fantastic here, so that's going to be the 5v4 that allows Fusion to walk forward as soon as their nano is also available for Aim God. Yeah,
he was listening to what you were saying, and he said, okay, fine, I'll just kill him then. Gushue is just zapping away at this man who has got no support whatsoever thus far. He'll go grapple down onto the low ground where he can receive some healing. Alpha E antied out, the chase coming through. Ballasria tries to get that kill, can't make it happen. Blade gonna be pulled first and foremost here by Zest. Dashing in, gets both of the supports, doubles down for another one there onto Alpha Yi. Now the sleep dart chasing forward, the headshots connecting, the Bionade is there. It's a brilliant delayed team wipe as they will go ahead and push this through. Fixer's dashing over to the side for some reason, and Name God says, okay, fine, I'll bring the cart forward. Split spawns now.
Some bad spawns as well. This is just going to slow down Spark even further in terms of regrouping. Adds more ult charge towards Fusion's ult bank, which they actually had an advantage on. I think that comes from the fact that they kind of won the first pseudo fight. I say pseudo fight because it's basically just Super Rich going down and Fusion walking forward. But enough early damage being done by Zest that he had the Dragon Blade lead, so Alfie could not respond. Shy also died to MN3, so everything that Fusion needed in terms of small individual micro things happening, that kind of did happen in very small ways, but that gives you a lead to work with.
Bellatrix, I mean, playing off the info here from MN3 quite nicely. Got into the back lines, took down Shy instantly. Where that initial shot did not connect. Now AimGod finding Gusha and Alpha Yi, I mean, antied out, nowhere to go. Fixa will kill him off screen. The Primal now going to be popped as Bellatrix says, like, yeah, I've got two people cornered. I'm just going to push them up the stairwell and juggle them around. The rally from Super Rich does keep Irony alive, but now he falls lower and lower. Will get eliminated. And Zest is there for the alley-oop, comes through to help finish off the supports. MN3 dead in the meantime, but it doesn't matter. Fixa got that elimination, and while they got slowed up at point A for a considerable amount of time, they now have 4.5 minutes to push this final stretch of Gibraltar.
And now you start to see why Bellatrix is here and why they want to keep him in and want to play this map here as well. He's actually had a phenomenal A to B sort of scale play in terms of having that front in control. You talked about playing off the information from MN3 as well. He solos double supports. Irony actually missed the sleep. Now that actually is very costly. If Irony lands asleep, the two supports of Spark can actually help their team make a counterplay, but the two supports of Spark instead caught up in a corner. Free cap coming on through. 4 minutes plus into C is unreal. This is going to be a pretty damn good time bank.
Well, if they can get the finish. This is a difficult point to cap, so could get stopped up a bit. Blade now going to be pulled going into the back line. Swipes in. Shy going to go down. Dashing through. Trying to get on top of Super Rich, and Zest will get the elimination. Alpha E with a blade of his own, though. Finds AimGod. He's looking for a little bit more, but there's just too much pressure being applied from the side of the Fusion. They hound him down. He only gets one for the blade, and that was the only ultimate that they had available there. The next closest thing is going to be the Primal, which will be decent, and then otherwise the Infrasight.
Still waiting for the Primal from Gushui as well. It will be matched by Bellatrix. Look at the payload positioning. Again, still 3:30. In the last 30 seconds, we've made plenty of extra mileage on this actual payload itself. Alpha now coming through on a Tracer and struggling to get too much done. Already has to use the recall.
Yep, Zest is right here looking for him. Misjudged the recall positioning just a bit. Otherwise, he might have been able to get an earlier punish there. Still taps him down quite low with the headshot shuriken.
Primal
now
forced.
has to dash away. Primal does come through. Gushui looking to open things up a bit here for his squad. Bellatrix in the meantime just looking to go ahead and gatekeep the rest of the team back into the spawn room. Has to leap out to his safety. As, yeah, well, Bubble will come up. He takes a little bit of a nap. Gushui, like 1 HP right there for just a moment.
One.
Does manage to stay alive. A little bit of scary margins that he's playing around. The Infrasight's up now for MN3, looking for a target.
You can see that they were just respecting the fact that, okay, Gushui's also popped the Primal rather here. They are respawning. There's been an Infrasight being played in MN3 now, responding with an Infrasight. Finds that kill to Alpha Yi. With a Nano on the Gushui, that's going to be the last stand. I mean, if this Nano doesn't get value, it's over.
No, it's not, because he's going to be taking a nap inside of his bubble. Now he's going to have a bit of a rude awakening. Has to leap back over to the spawn room, trying to stay alive. Super Richie gets a rally, but it's not in time. They're trying to keep Irony, and he cannot get enough healing. As Irony was dead, there was nobody there to try to top him back up, so Zest with a blade manages to find the other support. The right click taking down Gushui, and now it's just a matter of time as Alpha Yi, yeah, he will fall. MN3 with some fantastic headshots on this final stretch. 2 minutes and 5 seconds, the finishing time here for the Fusion. And knowing what we know about Gibraltar, that's a pretty damn big time bank.
And it's a giant gap in the DPS department here as well. It's not just the fact that, Alpha Yi compared to Midtown, it's a completely different game. It's like there's one good team between both of these two teams, and they trade places between who's going to win and who's going to lose across these maps. And I did say, look, when map choice comes in, it is going to make a big difference because you are going to end up being able to choose maps that you are favored on, and we're seeing that in full force here with Fusion dominating their opening attack here. 11 final blows for Zest. Only one final blow for Alpha Yi. It's not been a good time for Hangzhou Spark, and it's not just Alpha Yi. The entire team got kind of dumpstered there on that defense. Staggered all the way through B. Didn't even really get to pop a blade. I believe that one kill actually came through from the blade. How long did Alpha Yi have to hold on to that blade for? Quite a while. Didn't get to use it until C. Hangzhou Spark never got to set up a fight. Irony and Super Rich barely got to play the game. Bellatrix kept them cornered for most of that B push. It was an entirely free B push. How many times do you see a B cap come in the manner that Fusion did it? Completely for free. Doesn't happen. Yeah. So, Spark, a lot of questions need to be asked here because we're heading into match point for Fusion otherwise, and it's looking very likely it will be a 2-1.
Well, we've had full holds on this map. We've had people pushing to the finish with some decent time bank. We'll have to see what happens now for Fusion, because sometimes you get that really strong attack, and then they flip over to the defense. It's like, oh, actually, we can't hold at all. You know, we only can attack. Let's see if that's going to be the case for them here. But either way,
that's how you get those
really well practiced.
That's how you get those 8 Anubis kind of maps, right? Those 11-11, Volskaya maps coming through that you play for 3 hours on one map. So I see it. I get it.
I know that some people miss, we're not big fans of that, but I, for one, kind of miss the old 2CP. I wish that they would bring it back.
Good memes. Good memes.
Give me a special game mode, like a week where you add it back into the competitive queue. I think that would be wonderful.
1.5
anyway.
CP. 1.5 control points.
You only have to get half the tick of the point to win. Shy, jump shot over the top. Instantly does dump Bellisria. Takes him low. Aim God going to be taking a nap. Seems like, though, with the peel coming through for Bellisria in the back line, no one able to get on top of Aim God to get the punish, so he'll be woken back up and it's right back into the fray.
Slow innings for Spark to start things out with. Again, a little bit of focus on the actual payload itself, trying to move it through the car wash and maybe up the hill. This time you're not going to see, well, unless Shy lands a shot, you're not going to see this insane opening pick come through that forces the defensive team away instantly. In fact, Fusion are doing a great job of holding onto this high ground so far, making it very difficult for the Spark to actually walk forward in there. No longer actually even getting payload distance or high ground control, so they're losing on both fronts of map control.
And Bellisria identifying exactly where Shy is at. Takes him low, can't get that kill. In the meantime, MN3 does find Alpha Yi, though. Bellisria still playing a bit boldly. Gets Anteed down to 150. Will manage to make his exit, though. Shy taking a nap. No one really going to be able to get on top of him, though. The whole team of the Hangzhou Spark is there. So he will safely wake up.
Okay, it's nano time for sure now. This is what we've been waiting for. The Spark have been waiting for ultimates because they don't have anything else. Bellisria goes in first. Now, you'll notice that Bellisria is playing super aggro. He can because he's got the primal. He's always going to be able to bail himself out. Gushray now has a primal here as well. This is also putting a lot of pressure onto Shy to give MN3 the space to work with instead.
Yep, just dropping down, zapping everybody that he can. Falls down to 30 HP before popping the primal. Now goes into the back line, juggling the Genji around a little bit. Nano goes on him as well. Oh, no, it doesn't. Never mind. That's just his primal. Little zappy zaps going around his fists. And he'll leap back in. A little leapfrog. Just over the top to get himself back, joined in with the rest of the squad. The support's off of the flank. Anti goes out. They get the push back there off the whip shot. He's chasing. He's looking for Aim God. And it has to come through, down to Gushway rather, jumping forward to be able to get that elimination. Otherwise, the Blade was not going to be finding too much. But they set up enough damage for Gushway to find the kill. Rally now rolling his Fixa, tries to keep himself and the rest of the squad alive. But Zest going to be taken down. Alpha E finds that.
Oh,
Fixa
99.
getting a little bit of revenge, but now he's low. Antied out, has to wait for the rest of the squad to join in. Shy gets taken down by MN3, but MN3 falls to Gushway. Cart now pushing forward, just a couple meters left to go here with a minute and 10 seconds remaining on the clock. Anti out from Irony, not going to connect. Fix-up blocks that one with the shield. Nano at the ready. Anti just going to be clearing the Venom Mine, not finding really any targets other than Gushway, who's since exited, and they get them to reset.
Spark just back out. Yeah, they completely back out. They actually could have forced a nano blade there, but they back out. If they put a little bit more pressure on the payload and onto members respawning, I guarantee the nano blade is forced out. And look, Spark probably lose the fight, but in terms of resources, that would have been hugely in their favor to force extra ultimates out. Now there is still going to be the potential, but with Zest being taken down, the nano's going to be forced onto Bellisria instead.
Yep, like we're going to have to be here. It's Bellisria. Yep, there we go. The nano goes out onto him, still hovering around half HP as he tries to hold the cart in position. Just 4 or so meters left to go here to get that bump up on the time bank. 2.5 minutes to get added in. Dive into the back. He's looking for Shy, but the healing is going to be good. They get the Slink Dart down onto him, but now here comes the Blade. But Zest instantly gets evaporated. Super Rich gets on top of him. The Anti was there from Irony. They find the punish from the Genji. Shy, however, now going to be out of the fight. Bellisria pops that Primal Rage and gets on top of Irony, taking their own Nano out of the fight there. Stick through from Alpha E, gets the kill on the MN3. They still look to try to get this across the finish line, but Zest returning now over onto the Tracer, instantly finds the kill onto Alpha Yi, taking him out of the fight. The rally going to be rolling from Fixa, trying to keep everybody else alive. Leap up into the air from Gushway. The touch comes back in, Super Rich with a rally of his own. It's going to be taken out of the fight. Aim God shuts it down with the Bionade. Zest now gone. We are in such a back and forth brawl, but someone's got to touch the cart, and Gushway, he dies before he can hit the floor. He does not contest, and the Fusion will full hold their map pick, paying off wonderfully as they now take the lead 2-1.
And just being able to bounce on and off that payload to be able to maintain control and contesting it from the defensive side of things. Irony dying at 99% was the kill that secured that one, on top of actually killing, Super Rich and denying the rally as well. Both those supports dying at that critical time is massive in Fusion's favor. Irony didn't get the nano off at all. You could see him in the background trying to come back from spawn, but poor Ana, very slow character. She's old, she can't move very quickly. The nano never came on through. If that nano comes through for Gushray, I think there's a fair shot that Spark actually continue to fight that one and maybe even cap. But could they finish the map? Extremely unlikely. I said straight away, looking at how dominant that attack was from the Fusion, even if Spark get towards B, I don't think they finish with the map. They finish the map at all. If they do finish the map, the time bank will not be good. So Fusion, off the back of a successful attack, definitely had that one in the bag, and a deserved 2-1.
Well, there you have it. 2-1 the lead now for the side of the Fusion, but if we've learned anything from these map selections, that we very well could be going into a Game 5. Hangzhou Spark looks like they're electing to take us to New Queen Street for our push map. We'll see if they can tie this up yet again, extend it into a Map 5 series, or if the Fusion can put their foot down, get some revenge, and take it cleanly with a 3-1. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in just a few. And we are back and going into what very well could be the last map in our initial match here in the Kickoff Clash. The Fusion currently leading 2-1 over the Hangzhou Spark after they close out with a full hold on Watch Point Gibraltar. Now we set our sights on New Queen Street to see if the Spark can tie it up yet again.
And push is maybe a dangerous territory here. There's only two options, so this is probably one of the situations where getting map pick doesn't feel as impactful as maybe getting map pick for, say, Escort, where your choices are plentiful in terms of where you can go to, and there's very distinct playstyle changes depending on what map you go. Like I've already mentioned, Circuit Royale heavily favoring off-tank players, and then Gibraltar heavily favoring the main tank players in terms of the hero pools, right? New Queen Street, it's probably... Look, if you're going to go to a push map, this is probably the better one overall in terms of how good it is to play. I just don't like Coliseum. I'll put it out there. That's probably not a hot take. Most people probably agree. But is it good for Spark? I mean, hard to say. They did lose Coliseum to Philadelphia Fusion the last time these two teams met. We're not actually playing Coliseum now. Got to be playing something here where, looking at the fact that Bellisri is still in for the Fusion, it says to me the possibility of a Ryan like we've seen from London so far, proving that Ryan is actually a pretty strong pick here. There is a possibility just to play the Doom, which I don't think is very good. Most teams that have played Doom on New Queen Street haven't actually done well. Or Bellisri just plays a Winston. Pretty standard, pretty neutral, but we do know 100%, pretty much 100%, that Bernard is going to be playing that Zarya. So if Bellisri wanted to go Ryan, I think it's a reasonable matchup into the Zarya if that's the thinking and the strategy from the Fusion department right now.
Well, let's see what they have prepared for us as we get ready to go back into the action. Carpe, of course, rejoining with MN3 sitting on the bench. Looks like it's just going to be the Soldier 76 from him. I thought maybe we would see the Reaper. It looks like they will do a little bit of a mismatch as Zest is currently on the Tracer. 10 seconds left to swap, though.
And the other thing I have to comment about Hangzhou Spark on a push map as well is that they typically have Alfie on a Reaper, whereas Zest will most likely, you know, the last time they played, Zest actually played the Genji, but the Tracer option's also pretty decent here as well. Likely will be swapping off the Tracer eventually, though, because Tracer into Zarya, not a great matchup here, so probably we'll see the Genji eventually. Alfie's Reaper is good, but I feel like it doesn't have the same pop-up potential as his Genji, so that is part of the worry for Spark playing this specific composition. However, the Reaper does punish the Winston of Bellisria, so if that ends up being the area of success for the Hangzhou Spark, they can definitely win.
All right, well, Wraithwalk going to be forced early here. Alfie rejoins up on the high ground, just playing around the side of Statue, gets on top of Bellisria. The anti goes out onto him as well. And that's going to lead to him jumping out of the fight. Zest inches forward the bot for just a little bit here. Gains a whole almost
Big
2
sleep.
meters. Big distance as the sleep connects on the Zest. He wakes back up. Doesn't have a recall, but he's got the healing there from his teammates to keep him safe.
1.89 meters. I mean, that's not even as tall as Johnny, I think. So let's see what we get there. 198. That's a bit. I think, is that taller than Johnny? I'm pretty sure Johnny's like 5 meters tall, but in any case, he's actually a Titan from Attack on Titan, if you're wondering.
He's pretty gigantic, as they have now bested them by 8 or 9 meters there. Or 0.09 meters, I should say. Okay, enough about the math. So I'm just going to focus on yelling about the kills that come through, because we have a couple. Alfie and I already going to be out of the fight. They do trade Aim God, but it's going to be a nice trade up for the side of the Fusion, a 2-for-1. A little bit of an extended there, as Bernard does manage to find Aim God, try to allow for Irony to catch back up towards that nano boost charge that has been surging ahead. Aim God at 94% already.
And the death really helps Irony to catch up a little bit here, but Shy's actually hit in terms of the visor. That's the important part. They won't be able to nano visor, but they can just throw the visor out there before there's any real response from the Philadelphia Fusion. At this point, we're not seeing a huge amount of distance, 25-ish meters, okay, still reasonably far away from the actual checkpoint cap itself. Bellisria going in deep, still waiting for Shy to pull through with the ultimate. Somebody's got to use an ult at some stage, because Fusion's banking them up as well.
Yeah, just leaping into that back alley there, Bellisria trying to pressure the back lines. Wraithwalk going to be used. Oh, he tries to go in to get the stick as soon as he exits out of Wraith form. Cannot do so. Fusion still keeping the bot quite far forward as Carpe goes on a bit of a flank here with Bellisria through the interior of the building to try to get an angle. Sound barrier going to come through in response to the visor pop here by Shy. Nano's out onto him as well. Manages just at the very end to get Aim God as that shield barrier goes away. Super Rich will be traded out, but it's going to be a trade up for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. We now start shifting the bot back to the opposite side of the map. Fix as well going to be going down as they look for a little bit of an extended team wipe. Don't think they'll be able to find it unless they can get on top of Bellisria, which they do. The Carpe has well exited the building in the vicinity. So bot now going to be pushing. We'll see how far they can go.
We've used so many ultimates in that last fight. The only one remaining ends up being Carpe's Visor, which didn't get used in the last fight. Despite the Desperation Nano coming on in, we actually saw from Shy's POV, he wasn't able to find targets. He gets Aim God as the only kill, and Aim God still gets the Nano down, but no further kills off the back of the Nano from Aim God to save the day for the Fusion. how can they use this visor now? It's pretty much just going to have to be laid in there for Carpe.
He TP's right in behind them, and they are not prepared for it whatsoever. 2 kills quickly picked up. Carpe taken low, finished off by Shy at range. Fixa trying to stay in the fight, but cannot. Shy will find that elimination, and that is going to be the team kill coming through as the Hangzhou Spark can very well make it to the second checkpoint here.
It's brilliant initiative coming through from the Spark as well, because you see that Fusion, hands in pockets there, not too sure what the play is. They aren't really committing just yet. Carpe still holding into visor. Alpha E takes it with his own hands, pulls the trigger early, dives in, TP in with the bubble for the Death Blossom. Super successful. Talk about the potential for capping the checkpoint, not quite there, and this is where Fusion need to make their stand.
Bellisria looking for the short hop there into the back lines. Bionade thrown down by Irony, just keeping everybody topped up, and he's nearly got the Nano online now. Will be ready to go. Doesn't have a great recipient for it other than maybe Bernard if he can get to high energy. Otherwise, Alpha Yi could be the recipient here, and he will be. As I go ahead and set the stage for it. So they go ahead and throw that one down. Yeah, the grab out, and it's just going to be an absolute flood of pink in the kill feed as they just come up with a massive win here in the team fight. Zest, the last one staying alive, but eventually will fall, and the bot didn't make it very far away. Hangzhou are right back in control, and this time they will get the checkpoint.
I thought maybe Burner put the grab on top of the Jim Borden's club there, but it ends up being the Jim instead, so we'll take that one. It's a couple of kills. Again, not a lot of responses coming through from the Fusion side of things. Still really slow to pull trigger here at all. They had no support ultimates, obviously no sound barrier to protect themselves. Cap is near, but still not quite enough to actually... Do they have the cap? They do. Just.
Oh!
Huge double.
I don't even think he got the stick there. I think he just threw it on the wall and they both collapsed on top of it, but that's a major opening here from the side of Zest. As the bot is moving forward, Alpha E just going over towards the bot, delays it here for a moment as they look for the reset. They will be given it. Now it's about 30 meters to take the lead once the bot gets to pushing yet again.
And there should still be one more fight available here for the Hangzhou Spark before the checkpoint can be unlocked and capped by the Fusion. Now, the good news for Fusion, that time actually saving ults helped them because they get massive alley on the double kill on the Pulse Bomb. Everything else gets saved. Finally, the Nano Visor comes on through. This is still, by the way, the first visor the Carpe has had, the same visor since the start of the game. We'll finally see it this fight, hopefully.
Okay, well, there's the Nano so far. No visor. He's looking for a target. He's seen absolutely nothing. They absolutely just scatter away from him like cockroaches into the shadows as soon as the lights come on. They run away. Shy desperately trying to escape. Carpe.
Get him!
Or shot to him! Just shoot him! Just shoot him, Carpe! No, Fixa says, okay, fine. I'll do it if you cannot. If you're not willing, I will be the one to end this man's life. He takes down Shy. Now they look for a little bit more. Alpha E going to be Wraith walking out. Makes his exit. Sound barrier going to be dropped.
Interesting beat.
Putting that beat onto himself, onto Carpe. He will now finally be using the attack visor, but it's an instant beat in response from Super Rich, and now Bellisria has died because he didn't receive any of that sound barrier. Carpe is going to be dead. Imgod's sticking out of the fight, and the Hangzhou Spark, they take the bot right away from the Fusion yet again.
It's a confusing beat because in some ways I'm like, I guess it's a tempo beat coming through from Fixa. However, it doesn't even get onto every single member, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then Super Rich just counter beats anyway, so I don't know what that was all about. And then Carpe visors during the beat. Did he visor with his own beat or did he do it after? I can't. The entire thing is just jumbled brains at this moment. It's not very clean from the Fusion.
Okay,
that, however, is much better.
Yeah, finding a big value pick, doesn't get the stick, but it's fine. Puts it at Irony's feet, and he cannot get away from it. Now follows up, gets an elimination on Alpha Yi. Yep, Zest is saying, you know what, I will fight, I will drag you guys kicking and screaming back across the opposite side of New Queen Street if I have to. Fix it there as well, trying to pack him up. Gets the elimination onto Shy. Now Super Rich going to be taken down, and it's the Fixa and Zest show as the bot will be shipped across towards the Spark side of the map yet again. Still 7 meters that they need to close out if they want to get the lead, and there's only a minute remaining, as you say.
Well, to be fair, in a minute you can definitely get... It's one fight, right? You get one fight, you cap, and I actually think they win off this. So this final fight is actually for all the marbles. If you do actually get this fight win and you get over 57 meters, very unlikely that Hangzhou Spark can come back in the OT. So whoever wins the fight and gets control of the payload during the actual OT, probably the team that will... Whoever has the lead, rather, during the OT, is probably the team that takes it at the moment. Zest, I don't know if you can tell, but he really wants to win today, so he's hoping that they can be him.
Grab Blossom is available, though, so they have to be careful here. No way, obviously, to deny that grab away. Just have to try to play around as best as possible. The Nano going to be coming out as Carpe's out on the high ground. That's in response to the Graviton Surge. Carpe, while locked into that, will find Irony. The Blossom comes in, gets one, but Zest, again, hungry for the victory. Comes over the kill onto Bernard, now gets Shy. And looks for another target. Alpha Yi sat here on the bot, as is Super Rich. Is antied out somehow lasted quite a lot longer than I might have anticipated, but they will fall.
Oh my god.
It's just Zest and Fixa continuing to find these kills, and the Fusion might have just now brought it back. The Doomfist is there to contest, stops them from making to the checkpoint. Obviously, they still need to push through from there, but now Bernard, going to be eliminated. The bot makes it through, and now they have to wait it out. He takes his little break, rubs his shoulders, make sure he's ready to start pushing yet again.
Fusion's got it.
Dive for it. Visor comes out. Yeah, Carpe finding one. Irony now going to be gone. The pulse bomb not going to get super rich, but he cannot get over to the bot. As
no, I think Fusion won.
They should have.
I think Fusion won. They had control of the payload in the OT.
Yes.
So they win.
Yes, they did.
Right?
They had to have.
Congratulations, Fusion. Surely they won. What an interesting... Not that one. No, surely. No, that's definitely a Fusion win. It's got to be. Come on, we can't have Boston Uprising
I was going to say, the only way that would not have been is if they all left the bot. I think that is just a coding issue.
No, that can't be it.
I think that might
surely
just be a little bit of beta.
Everyone's saying GG's. Everyone's saying GG's. Okay, Fusion did win. Fusion did actually win. Okay. Calm down. We got there. We got there. Fusion, in fact, have won. Even though the thing didn't say Fusion won, we noted that they did.
Okay.
Let me comment really briefly on something that happened in the final fight before we move further forward. Interesting grab choice by Burner. He solo grabs Carpe on top of that is a tram bus thing. And he was unkillable. Yeah. Carpe was like unkillable. And Alfie's like, I guess I have to Blossom to kill one guy. He does Blossom. He does kill Carpe at the cost of 2 members of the Spark going down. Spark thought they could end it there. Spark thought if they just get this fight win with the grab and Death Blossom, which probably they should have if it wasn't just all used on one person and then traded for 2 in response, maybe Spark could have had that map and would have been to a map 5. But Fusion, they have an ultimate advantage despite losing Carpe. They have a player advantage despite losing Carpe. We're heading to the final fight at OT. Burner comes back on a Doom, instantly dies, and that's the end of that. Fusion, 3-1. Beautiful display today. Or maybe forget about the Midtown incident. It's always that map, isn't it, Kilo? It's that Midtown incident. Same thing against Chengdu, but wipe that one
really
from my memories, and the rest is fine.
Yeah, it really is. I realize, people are probably panicking now because just given the delays and whatnot, that this is when things are starting to be confusing. But yes, they win this. Fusion make it happen. I mean, so much cleaner here. The Midtown incident, we will just completely ignore it. I don't know what that map is. That didn't get played in this series at all. We just kind of skipped over that and awarded a win to Hangzhou Spark out of the generosity in our hearts. But yeah, Fusion looking a hell of a lot cleaner today. And, we were back and forth initially trying to figure out who could be the player of the match here. But after that last map of New Queen Street, it could only be one man. It is Zest. He showed that he has a fire and a fury in his belly, and he did not want to lose this series at all. The Genji plays from him, clean with the blades. The Tracer there, pretty much immaculate on that last map.
On every single map, I think Zest performed admirably. I think maybe only Midtown, where Zest was kind of forced onto awkward picks. Like we saw the May coming on through. We saw the Sim coming in through again. If we forget about the Midtown incident, the rest of Zest gameplay across the board, brilliant stuff. I mean, that includes Oasis as well. In a sort of series where a heavy talking point was Alpha Yi, especially on Midtown. Alpha Yi was really pumping, but when push comes to shove, and we really look at, plays like that, the double pulse bomb kill, that one double pulse bomb really gave Fusion such a major advantage in turning around the fight. So we talk about, I don't know about the rest of Fusion, but today Zest really wanted to win. Yeah, he definitely wanted to win if he got there. He pulled that team across the line.
Yeah, absolutely did. I mean, 6 kills with the Dragon Blade here on the Genji, and I think he got pretty darn close to that number as well with Pulse Bombs. I think by the end of that New Queen Street, he had at least 4, so was putting up some significant numbers here for the side of the Philly Fusion. And this is a guy who, at the very start of the year, came out the gate swinging, impressed all of us, immediately started the conversation of, Rookie of the Year, kind of centered around him, around a lot of the rookies on the side of the Philly Fusion, and he has continued to deliver. And now in his first series in the Kickoff Clash, his first proper tournament here in the Overwatch League, he's able to very much help carry the team to victory over the Hangzhou Sparks. So that sets them up very nicely. But the question now, Avril, becomes, who does he have to best next? Who else does he have to carry the Fusion on his back to beat? We're going to find out in just a few minutes, because we're going to go to a little break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this series, what it means, what we can expect from the Hangzhou Spark moving forward as they fall down to the lower bracket, etc. But we do have the Shanghai Dragons versus the Seoul Dynasty on the horizon. They are playing for a chance to go up against the Philly Fusion in the next side of the upper bracket. We'll see what happens in just a little bit when we come back, so don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.